Hello and welcome to another podcast with me, Mark Riley, here on markriley.org. It's the first podcast in a long while, actually. The wind and the sound that you can hear is the wind and an awful storm in Penzance, Cornwall. And the date is, I think, the 2nd of November 2019, which is technically All Souls Day, if I remember rightly, part of the 3-day All Hallows Tide Festival that I love to celebrate. And I'm here because I suppose this is the absolute death throes of the summer. It's the swan song of summer 2019. I know for everyone else summer's ended ages ago, but I am a diehard and haven't really given up yet, although I kind of have, because now the storm that is here across the whole of the south of England is horrendous and torrential. And I drove down last night in my car. Obviously, I don't know, I could have driven down in a van, you don't know. So I drove down in my car and it was awful. The weather was absolutely horrendous. Hit quite a few puddles. Spent ages, or what felt like ages, trying to find a place to park up. Ended up parking up in Land's End, or Sennon, close to Land's End, and sleeping in a lay-by for a good 5 hours, which incidentally was really comfortable. And I've just walking past a dead rat. How awful. So it's the weather here is so bad. There are bins and turned over from where they've been blown over rather by the wind. One of the other things is when you drive around Cornwall in the summertime, or spring summertime, or late summer normally, you find lots of where locals put out their produce, their organically grown produce, in a little shelving unit. I don't know what you call it really. The wind's picking up again, so you might not hear me. And basically you can just, they leave an honesty box, so you can take what you like and leave the money, kind of thing. And pretty much everyone that I saw last night had been blown over by the wind, so it was that bad. And I got woken up 3 times in the night because I felt like my car was going to be blown over by the wind. So my car was absolutely rocking, and not for the nice exciting reasons, unfortunately. It was more because of the wind. So I had planned to so one of the reasons why I was coming down today was to walk, basically. So sleep overnight in the car and then walk to Land's End. So leave the car at Land's End and then walk back, basically. But when I got to Land's End this morning, I could barely stand up. I actually ended up hurting my hand from when I opened my car door and the wind took it, and I thought it was going to take my car door off, basically. So I kind of missed my window of opportunity to do that, unfortunately, because the weather was so bad this morning. It's not much better. the wind's still pretty bad. It's not raining yet, although by the looks of things I am actually walking into a rain front. And if I was a surfer and not a stand-up paddleboarder, this would be amazing. The surf is incredible. So yeah, but I'm not, and I didn't bring my wetsuit with me either, so I'm out of luck. I'm walking past Penzance Station now. I'm on the Southwest Coastal Path on the way to Marazion, because I kind of thought I'd do a little practice walk for tomorrow, not wear myself out. But I'm looking at the brand spankingly new Great Western Railway trains, which look like green bullets, and they are amazing with a yellow nose. I was actually going to do the sleeper last night, which would have cost more or less the same money, but then I wouldn't have had anywhere to have slept last night, and there's absolutely no way that I could have camped. Not that, to be honest with you, the rain doesn't bother me. I'm not in the least bit bothered about rain. I'm British. We have it. It happens all the time here. It's the wind I don't like. That's pretty bad. And last night, if the wind was going to blow my car over, what would it have done to my tent with my bike in it? So I think I chose the better option of driving down with my bike in my car. So hopefully I'm going to get to do a nice ride, well, what looks like now on Monday, because I was going to do the ride tomorrow. So I do the hike today on the Southwest Coastal Path, and then do a ride to Land's End and back, which is I did last year, but I did it with an electric assisted bike, so I didn't actually do a proper. It doesn't count because that was kind of cheating when you've got an electric assisted bike. However, I was severely out of shape last year, and about 1.5 stones heavier than I am now. So now obviously I'm a lot fitter and a lot leaner and in a much better position to be able to do it without an electric assisted bike. So hence why I've bought my Cube hardtail mountain bike, which with its current setup and current components are pretty much on their last legs. This is going to be the last ride for that bike. Well, not for the bike, but for the stuff like the tyres and the tubes, and before it needs a full service and needs a new cassette. And anyway, unless you're into that sort of thing, that last section was extremely boring. So I'm walking towards St Michael's Mount, which is a castle sticking out of, well, I think it's the Atlantic. I'm not entirely sure. I always thought it was the Atlantic, and then I think somebody corrected me and said it's the Irish Sea, but I just thought, slippery seaweed, I'm going to go over. No, I'm not. I thought that the Atlantic just sort of covered most of Cornwall, if not all Cornwall, from north to west to south. Can you hear that wave? Can you hear the waves in the background? That's really loud. That crack is fantastic. So I'm going to stick with. For the past 20 odd years, I've believed it's the Atlantic. So ignorance is bliss. I'm going to stick with that until I actually get definitive proof, or somebody messages me and say, no, actually, Mark, you're wrong. It is actually this particular channel, ocean, sea, body of water, whatever. So I'm walking there, and I can just about see it. It's funny enough. I was just at Sainsbury's for my sins, only because they have a toilet, and I bought cheap coffee, which was absolutely average. And for a minute, I could actually see it really clearly. It was sort of sticking out the ocean, and then it sort of just disappeared into this sort of sea mist of dark grey cloud, and now it's gone. And barely, it's almost as if it's just a silhouette now. And I was going to put my reading glasses on to see if that made any difference, but I'm not I'm not short-sighted. I'm long-sighted, so I can see things at a distance. I just can't see things close up. So actually, from this great vantage point, I'm glad I'm doing this bit, because then at least tomorrow I can start from Penzance and say that I've actually walked on this particular trip, because I've not done this since 2004 properly, all the way around. The last time I did this particular stretch from Marazion to Land's End was in 2004. No, I just said that, didn't I? The last time I attempted, was 2015, and I had some ill-fitting hiking boots, and my knee gave way, and then that sort of gave way to about 2 years of a knee injury, which I thought was the early onset of arthritis, and then I thought that's your lot. You'll be wearing braces and hiking stuff. And then I lost a bit of weight and got fit, and started exercising regularly, and then all of a sudden my muscles strengthened and I don't have those pains anymore. I have pains elsewhere, but I'm middle-aged, so I'm going to get aches and pains. It goes with the territory of having a middle-aged body, I suppose. So from this vantage point, anyway, the reason I was talking about doing this particular stretch was, yes, I get to say that I've walked from Marazion to Penzance, and then from Penzance to Land's End, because I can actually see Marazion, which is a beautiful little fishing village, and then actually see Mousehole, which is great, because there's a part of, sorry for the sniffing and stuff, it's cold. There's part of it, sorry, I know if you've got headphones on, it's probably quite disgusting to have to listen to, but I'm sorry. So when you get to Mousehole, when you're walking on the west coastal path, I'm going to say that again, but I'm not going to edit it. I'll come back to this. I was actually listening to a great programme last night on Radio 4. You get to Mousehole, and as you look around St Mounts Bay, it's kind of like your last look at the southern part of Cornwall before you start walking around to the southwest part of Cornwall, and then you can see sort of the whole of the bay. You can see Marazion, you can see the Lizard, you can see Penzance and a tiny bit of Newlyn, and then you disappear around the corner, and then you are literally right at the edge of the kingdom, and then it's kind of, you know, the point of no return where you continue to go. So yes, I was listening to this programme on Radio 4 last night on the way down, and I have to say, normally Radio 4 is one of these great, to me it's a great radio station to listen to while you're driving. The content's not always amazing. Some of it is just, you know, drivel and waffle delivered in a flawless RP accent, you know, with terribly, you know, this is amazing, I can say anything in this perfect English dialect, you know, and you'll totally believe me. Well, obviously not totally, because I don't say totally, but you know what I mean. But there was actually one programme that I listened to last night which was called Close to the Edit, I think it was Close to the Edit, something like that. But it was basically about how radio programmes, and it was very relevant towards podcasts as well, and actually relevant to why I'm doing this podcast. How they're edited, and they're edited because I spend forever actually editing all of my podcasts, just to get out of the coughs and the spluts, and it gives me an opportunity to say a phrase again without stuttering, and to you know, so for example, I would say something like, I'm going to St Michael's. No, I'm going to say that again. I'm going to St Michael's Mount, and then on occasion you'd actually hear myself say, "There, I didn't. Oh, for goodness sake, Mark, get it together." You know, and I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a podcast where I keep all of that in, because I actually listened. One of the presenter was very brave in one of the sections that he did. He did this. He played an interview that he did with the guy who edited Apocalypse Now, the movie. I think he edited the audio for it as well as kind of the visuals, and so he played the edited version of the interview, and then played the unedited version of the interview, which incidentally was a lot more interesting, and it made the guy sound a lot more human. Not that he didn't sound human, but you know, the first part of the edited interview is the bit you hear and you listen to and you don't think anything of, and you think, okay, that's the interview. But when you actually listen to the unedited version with the coughs and the splutters and the stutters, and not being able to speak properly into the mic, and the interviewer saying, "Can you speak closer to the microphone, please?" That kind of thing. It makes it sound a lot more honest by comparison, because obviously when you listen to the edited version you don't know what the original sounds like. So it was actually, and I have to say, it's the first time I've actually listened to Radio 4 programme that I felt was relevant to me, whereas I listen to sort of a lot of the comedy programmes, and it's all, you know, very kind of university graduates who have done their masters and God knows what else in terms of higher education, and again, look, there's a Great Western's going past, go back to London Paddington, so I won't see that for a few days. So yeah, so it's kind of, you know, again with this flawless RP accent, which if you don't know what RP is, it's called received pronunciation. It's basically what, if you watch the BBC News, it's listen to the accent that the majority of newscasters speak in, that's RP, or, you know, kind of Downton Abbey English is received pronunciation. So it was for a long time the standard before we started to accept, or the BBC rather started to accept, that there are other people in the country who have accents other than London, well, not just London, but you know, posh. So yeah, no, I'm actually quite shocked, because you probably can't hear me now because I'm in the wind. I've walked 2 miles, I think, and I've not seen a single soul. Actually, normally I see people walking their dog on the beach, and I see, admittedly, this is storm weather, so it doesn't really surprise me that people aren't out and about with their dog on the beach. You know, why would you take your dog out on the beach in a storm? I know my dog would be curled up on the sofa, given the opportunity, rather than going out on a freezing cold beach on the second day of winter. Which again, it's another thing, right? So I didn't realise, this is my stupidity, as somebody who is a massive fan of, as I said, I think on the Dread House podcast, of all things macabre, I always thought the first day of winter was the winter solstice, but apparently that's midwinter, which I've only just recently learned, and I'm really embarrassed. Talk about fake pagan, right? So so apparently 2 days after, or the day after Halloween, which is my favourite holiday, apparently that is the first day of winter. Didn't know that, because I saw somebody on Twitter mention, come and celebrate the first day of winter with us, and I was going to correct them and go, actually, and I sort of went through a few different places, got out a couple of books that I have on my bookshelf, and then realised I was actually wrong. What a donut. So yeah, that's that. So, wow, I've been going on for over 15 minutes. So, and I want to talk some more, but it's the first podcast I've done that isn't a spooky one. So I've been doing these Dread House. I'm going to start that one again. There you go. Unedited. I can't even say it. Unedited. So, oh my god, I wish do you know what? I'm going to show you. If you look at the icon, right, for this podcast, I'm actually going to show you what this picture is, what I'm looking at now, and until I find something better. But it's a porta cabin toilet that's blown over. So there you go. I'm not saying my podcasts are crap or anything. I'm just saying that amused me. So I'm actually, do you know what? While I'm here, I might as well take some other pictures, so you actually get to see what I'm looking at while I'm recording. So, and I'm in the doghouse at the moment because I showed my son Hocus Pocus, the movie, last night, and he had nightmares and couldn't sleep. So I'm in trouble. But I didn't think it was that scary. But then I suppose, then again, he's 7, so, and he's scared of everything. So anything is scary to a 7-year-old, I suppose. So, and with hindsight, somebody like myself who's actually quite desensitised to all of that, and that kind of thing, I suppose it would. I keep forgetting that this is all very new to him. So yeah. Well, there we go. So it's actually, for the first time, I'm starting to feel a bit of cold because I'm wearing shorts still. I know it's November the 2nd. The sun has gone on his way, isn't it? On his way to. It's only, I think he's in Australia at the moment, I think, right now. So the dark days ahead, and the days are just getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and darker and darker and darker, until we reach December 21st. Well, apparently, I think this year it's December 22nd. Apparently, not sure why, but that's what I read. I could be wrong. So until we reach December 22nd, when the days start getting longer, and I think I might keep up this whole new approach to unediting or not editing podcasts and just doing them raw. It saves a lot of time actually, and also they're a lot easier to publish. I'm actually nowhere near publishing this because all I've got is the recorder, and I've got my phone with me, which is in itself how I upload stuff to my server. But yeah, I was saying I've got shorts. Yeah, so it's the first time I've actually feel a bit of cold on my legs, and they're also a little bit wet. And then I realised that I've got the wind behind me, so walking towards St Michael's Mount is really easy because I've got the wind. On the way back, however, could well be a different story. So stay tuned. Well, you won't, because you won't hear it. But I won't subject you to that nonsense. Right, well, I am going to go now, and thank you very much for listening. I do hope you have a wonderful winter. I would like to say this isn't going to be the only podcast that I do over winter, but it may well be. So I don't want to make any promises. I've still got to create more content for thedreadhouse.com. So if you like horror stories, head on over there. There is a link, or if there isn't, there will be a link on markriley.org to go and visit them. You can download the podcast from iTunes and the usual places from the feed, markriley.org /feed FEED. Stay tuned and subscribed. So once again, thank you very much. Have a great time.